Impact. Marcus, welcome.
Good to be back.
We're good to be making your debut. One of those is right. So we're reviewing last week's episode of Impact in 15 minutes or less. I don't know. We're not Russell Talk. We're not going to worry about that. So I don't remember the exact opening seconds of the show, but we're going to kick right off into the first match, which was Rosemary versus Kira Hogan. Is the women's matches this week weren't very good. I'm just gonna put it out there. Tasha Steelz got involved. That led into Havoc coming in, and if I remember correctly, I think Rosemary won. We're gonna say
Yeah,
Rosemary won.
yeah. I want to call it the voodoo drop.
Yes, the voodoo drop. Not to be confused with the. I have nothing. Dead joke. Moving on. Mark, any thoughts on the opening match?
It was cool. It was fine. Like you said, it wasn't. Nothing blew me out of the water. Just a decent opener.
Then we move on, and Chris Bay is like, "Hey, remember when I used to call everything Bay?" Because he forgot to do it in his opening comments, so he had to go back and he's like, "Maybe I mean Betaful or whatever it was." I'm like, Chris Bay, your gimmick is dumb. And then Trey Miguel and P.D. Williams walked up, like, "Hey, remember when we were in Popular Stables? And you should be with us." And Bay's like, "Totally, maybe, no, probably not. I don't know. Let me get back to you. How about never?" It did a good job hyping up the eventual return in my head of Team Canada, which will never actually happen on television because, I don't get to have good things. Marcus, thoughts or no?
It's interesting because it feels like Bay's been yo-yoing back and forth for a while now. Also leaning a little bit more towards the heel stuff because I think that's ultimately where he thrives at. But interesting because sides have clearly been picked specifically when one of those has both Madman Fulton and now Shira. So you know.
It's going to be interesting. Ultimate X coming up at Slammiversary. Speaking of which, Tommy Dreamer's like, "Hey, Scott, I'm now working with you." And Scott's like, "Well, ain't that some shit?" And Gia Miller's like, "Do I look like SoCal Val with brunette hair?" Yes, you do look like SoCal Val. Like, doesn't, like, I just realized it. Like, I don't know why I just realized it, but she looks like SoCal Val. I'm not entirely sure she's not SoCal Val. Can we get a ruling? SoCal Val 2020? So we'll see what happens with Dreamer and Demore. We then get another knockout match that I could do without. It was Su Young and Diana Perazzo. I guess they're building up to Diana and Su Young at Slammiversary and not Taylor Wilde, I guess. I don't know. Maybe Kimberly's getting involved. Maybe they're going to do a Queen of the Mountain match. Give me the goddamn match. I don't care if it's King or Queen of the Mountain. Just give me an Of the Mountain match. Is that too much
Gotta
to ask
actually,
for?
I'd actually like to see that. I'm surprised nobody's thought of that yet. Queen of the Mountain.
I think they
With
did
all,
it once.
I mean, with all the firsts that they usually do in the great showcases they've done for women over the years, specifically even under this regime, that seems like a kind of no-brainer. Specifically when you got somebody like freaking Big Mama Pump kind of getting pissed off, taking L's. That almost be the perfect thing a little bit, but. Like you said, we'll see. But again, this is my least favorite version of Susie. I mean, Sue Young or whatever. There's Sue Young, the top, then Susie, and this is just like you said. Hopefully, it's coming to an end. Although I do appreciate the lackeys kind of getting tired of being lackeys via the person that they're lacking for being like, you guys suck as lackeys.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right. Then we get maybe the best fucking segment of the night. Swan and Mac drop in on TJP and Falaba, Alicia, the Swingerettes, Johnny Swinger, Johnny Bravo, and Hernandez. Who, what did Swinger call him? The dirty? No, he called him something, and I'm like, whoa, Johnny, I don't think you can call Hernandez that. And I was like, oh, jeez. But then the best segment was Swan put his feet up on the table, and Hernandez was like, nah, nah, nah. drop your pink felted shoes off the table. And everyone's like, yeah, but Johnny Bravo's got the real kicks. And Swinger's like, hey, one time only, Bravo, show them your kicks. And then Swinger pulls up these leopard printed fucking felt shoes that look like Swinger's, just leopard printed. And they're all like, yeah, you win. Yeah. And I'm like, Johnny Bravo finally got a win.
2 different forms and colors of the leopard, but from the socks to the shoes. But you gotta appreciate that.
Yes.
It's,
I don't know if
yeah,
that was clashing or if it was complimenting, but it worked.
yeah. But shout out to the Mac. Will make me come across. I don't think I won't come across this table and make your ass draw 2.
I just like how DJB's like, apparently we're playing Uno now. And Paul Ball's like, ooh. So this was one of the best segments of the night for sure. Any thoughts on this one?
No, man. Sometimes these are more, sometimes hit or miss for me. But I think, when you get the right people that hit, Alicia always finds a little time, and usually Swinger is the highlight of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm never looking forward to seeing TJP, so he's always a minus in most things he's in for me. But I like how they got Swan and Mac involved. So
I was a fan of that. Dreamer and Callis then meet, and they're going to do a match next week. Team Dreamer versus Team Callis. I'm going to spoil it for you. It's Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers versus Chris Sabin, Moose, and Sami Callihan. They're like, who's going to be the team? And then it's Sammy, and then it's Moose. And then it's like, who's going to be the third guy? I don't know if they showed it on television, but I watched it on the iMPACT Plus app, and they went from like Moose, and then there's like another segment, and then we go to Josh Matthews and D'Lo Brown. They're like, yeah, and then next week it's going to be Team Callis versus Moose and Sami Callihan and Chris Sabin. And I was like, oh, so we're not going to do a hype up third? Okay, whatever. I think there's a reason why the iMPACT Plus version didn't have it. Now, I don't know if the actual live stream had it or not. Maybe it didn't. But we'll get to why I think they cut it. We then get a match. It's supposed to be an X Division match, or at least that's kind of how I thought it was going to be, considering the segment we had earlier in the night, where Petey Williams and Trey Miguel are taking on, there's so many, Rohit Raju, there it is, and Mahabali Shah, whatever. This is a solid little match. I like this match. This is a good match. This might be the match of the night for me. What about you?
yeah, same. These guys always show out, and Petey Williams and Trey Miguel are building a really great bond, and being a big fan of Trey. So yeah, I'm right there with you about the probably the best match of the night.
I should know. I think Deanna won the other knockouts match. Then with this match, if I remember correctly, the Baddies won. Did he even have a finish?
Yeah, with the other knockouts match.
No. With the tag team match with Petey and Trey versus Rohit and Mahabali.
Yeah, they beat. Yeah.
Who beat who? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was Rohit and Shera beat Williams. Yeah.
Well, that's a good one for them. Bad loss for the other guys. Post-match sees Sawyer Fulton and Ace Austin come down and contribute with the beatdown. Josh Alexander comes in. He's clearing house, but then they overwhelm him. And you think... I want to call him Swerve because I just saw that Swerve won the International Continental Euro Championship from NXT. So congratulations, Isaiah Scott. Chris Bay comes down. He's all like, hey, y'all, I'm going to take selfies. And that was how the segment ended. I was like, all right. We then get Tommy and Sammy joining the team, and then Moose joins the team, and Gia Miller's like, I swear to God, I'm not SoCal Val. And Tommy just doesn't believe it. I don't believe it either. Hashtag you are SoCal Val. Now, I've watched iMPACT pretty regularly over the last few months, even if I haven't commented on it in a YouTube video. And I can say honestly, this is the worst fucking segment I have seen in some goddamn time. Rachel Ellering comes out to talk to Jordan Grace, and I shit you not, it's like 12 minutes long. And like the first 7 is Rachel going, Jordan, I just want you to know, Jordan, I respect you. Jordan, I feel Jordan, and there's like no emotion in her voice, and it feels like she's giving a presentation. Like she's telling me about the imports and exports of Iraq. Oh, tell me more about the royal family. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Rachel. You have clear enunciation and zero passion. So this segment sucked, and then Jordan's like, "Do you want to know why I'm so mad? Because you keep bringing up Tennille, and I don't care about Tennille. I can do this on my own." And I'm like, I don't understand this feud. And then Jazz comes out. I'm like, oh, this will get better then. It does not get better. She's calling Jordan my baby, and I'm like, that's condescending. Jordan Gray's the size of a small boulder, not a baby. And it doesn't get more intense. And I'm like, okay. So Jordan leaves. She's like, I got to think about your kind words, Rachel, even if they were about as flavorful as noodles. Not buttered noodles, just noodles. So she leaves. I'm thinking to myself, oh, thank Christ, this segment's over, because it needs to be. And then Tennille comes out, and I'm like, oh my God. No. But God wasn't listening to my prayers, Marcus, because it went on another 4 fucking minutes. And then a little fight breaks out at the end. And I'm like, oh my God, I've never been this bored by violence in my life. Did you feel as bad about this segment as I did? Because like I felt bad about this fucking segment, especially with who was involved. I like all these individuals, the exception of maybe T.
No. Yeah, I'm not taking away from any of her talent. She just doesn't do anything for me. Obviously gorgeous woman, but yeah, just don't disturb me in any way in the ring or alone. But it's cool that they found something for Kayla to do because he's been associated with Impact for a very long time. Um, yeah, it was a lot of pouting from Jordan and a lot of, and I don't know if Ellering means to do it. I think she's trying to be sincere, but it comes off so, like you said, so middle of the road with the emotion. It almost comes off as condescending.
Book reporty. That's kind of how I thought of it. It's like she was giving me a goddamn book report.
Yeah, she's not really giving an emotion through her words, but we're having the you know, read all the emotions come from Jordan's internally through her faces, which she's great at. And then Jazz comes out and tries to sing clap, woo woo woo, the situation. And yeah, it's just it like you said, it went on probably 10 minutes too long. I needed to be probably like a 2 minute segment or whatnot, and they just stretched it.
I have no idea why they felt the need, because like Rachel kept repeating herself. So I don't know if they had to cut a segment from this set of tapings or what, but it was bad. Maybe Rachel's just not a great promo gal, which is fine. You don't need to be. But, the one thing Paul Heyman said that I actually agree with is accentuate the positives and hide the negatives. If Rachel Ellering can't cut a promo that doesn't sound like a librarian teaching you how to use the internet, then don't send her out there with a fucking microphone. I don't know. Common sense needs to rule the day, but here we are. We then got a fun little match with Jake Something and the bastard offspring of Joey Janela and Ziggy Dice. I saw his name at one point in the evening. I still can't remember it. Frizzy Tattoo Boy.
Yeah,
He does not have a good day. Jake Something hits one of the most nasty ass, crazy, impactful, swing 'em a bob, black hole slams I've ever seen in my life. Puts him away. And Kurt Hawkins or Brian Myers, he goes, yeah, Frizzy Boy. Everything Jake Something did, do the opposite. And I'm like, you mean do the opposite of winning? He just did that.
this has been the only, like, I've actually been entertained by this stuff. Particularly, I think this was on obviously one of the shows from either a week ago or the week before that when they was in the back, and he had his son playing the boombox. Teach him.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, see, got the whole presentation that with the mask. You're like, wait a minute, I thought you didn't need the mask. I thought you got the shot. That's not what it's for. Like the whole thing is just. This has been the only way I've been being entertained by Myers. So on this situation, I'm just always glad to see Jake. So he's getting better and better. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful black hole slam. Feel like he put a little extra stank on it than this ever did. So it's good.
I am very much a fan of Jake Something, and I really want to see more of what he can do. He's really become one of my favorite guys, and I don't know if he needed the Cody Deaner tag team with the Deaner family, but I feel like it did help him because it kind of slowly showed us what he can do, and it kind of put himself in a good situation. Like I kind of view guys in the old Raw versus SmackDown, 2005, 2006 mindset of like the video games, where like popularity has like a number to it. And I look at Jake Something as somebody who's in the 70s right now, and that's good.
Yeah.
Like he's on his
Hmm.
way up. Like he's building it up. So like, I'm very excited to see where Jake Something is in a year because this dude has a great look, great build. He keeps himself in great shape. I know it's a dumb little accoutrement, but I really love that stupid thigh pad he has because it gives him kind of like a different vibe. And then he's got like his taped hands. I'm like, this dude just feels like a guy who wants to beat you up. Like you could be like, hey, Mr. Something, I brought you a pizza, and he goes, Steven, it's so nice of you to bring me a pizza. And then he starts beating up Steven. Mr. Something, why are you beating me up? Well, it's what I do, Steven. I beat people up. That should not be his gimmick because like I would have way too much fun writing it as a comedy. But like that's his gimmick. He just beats people up and I love it. So like yeah, Jake Something, love it. More Jake Something, please.
Yeah.
We then get some hypes with Eddie and Kojima. Swan and Mac are in there. I feel like everyone just kind of wanted to hang around with Kojima.
As they should.
Kojima, lariat.
Arigato.
Just fucking CM Punk impersonating Homicide to fuck with Gabe Sapolsky is like my favorite story in the history of stories. This is Homicide. This is CM Punk. I'm just fucking with you. Main event time. Violent by Design takes on Kojima and Eddie Edwards. It is a fun little match. Kojima still definitely has something left in the tank. That is beyond obvious. But he also is like 49, so he doesn't have that much left. Jake Doring is a different kind of violent. Eddie Edwards, he's starting to look like a fucking Ruby Tuesdays. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on with his outfits and his jackets and shit, but like, yeah, it's stupid. And then I still don't know what that ZNA bullshit is. Like he's got it like on his trunks, on his jacket, on his hat, on his shoes, on his fucking face. I think it's on his girlfriend's stomach or his wife's stomach. I think their daughter has it shaved in her head. I think they hired a Skyrider to spell out the ZNA. I don't know what it means, man. It confuses me. The bad guys win. They win clean. Not Jake something. Joe Doring hits Eddie with a big old power bomb. Gets the win. I liked it. It's a good match. Solid main event. Marcus, thoughts? Any?
Same here, man. It's been really cool just to see Kojima in this environment. I know Eddie's been loving just being around him and, certainly teaming with him. And I know, the stuff with Violent by Design has been really great. And, seeing more Doring in action, man. So it was good stuff. And couldn't expect too much. I don't know if they're going to drop the title. So I doubt we're going to be getting, foreign to come and taking the title anytime soon with them having it feels like this long game they've been allegedly planning on getting it off Omega. It's taking a little too long for my taste. We're gonna see how they end it, but yeah, I can't expect them to take it off. And I mean, they just got the title, so
We will definitely see if that ends up happening. In a unaired scene that was on their YouTube channel, I think. I saw it on impact.com. Apparently, Kojima and Eddie had a conversation post-fight, and Eddie says, respectfully, Kojima, I would love to have a match with you one-on-one. Could you do me this favor? And Kojima goes, one-on-one with you? Yes, I will give you that favor. So we're going to get Eddie versus Kojima. I don't know when, maybe next week, maybe it's anniversary, but I'm excited. I think these two are going to beat the shit out of each other. And it's kind of weird, but, like, they're both Japanese legends. Kojima, obviously, in All Japan and New Japan, but also Eddie was the first Gaijin to win the Noah Heavyweight Championship. The GHC. Yeah.
that's a big deal, people.
And that's a legend-making move. So, like, yeah, that's kind of crazy. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, I dig it. And obviously, like we got Moose, who obviously has to go on a specific path to the world title, but is some of the stuff coming back to home. Did he take out James Storm and Chris Sabin, or just Chris Sabin?
I think it was just Chris Sabin.
Yeah. Moose might have took out Storm.
It's very possible.
Yeah, but Yeah, I mean it's cool because we haven't gotten much of Saban in one-on-one action, and it's just been cool seeing because I think that was last week when Moose was like, "I'll stay in here all night," and then he turned around and Saban came flying out the sky. That whole segment, I was just like, "Damn, Moose is jacked.
Yeah, Moose is pretty swole.
Damn, Moose is like this is literally the best shape probably of his life, maybe." But yeah, yeah. So Slam versus lineup, it doesn't feel like a bunch of random matches. So um, and obviously more to come. So. Definitely looking forward to it. Wasn't a bad show. Uh, I think this is definitely one you could kind of just you know get the clips of. Wasn't nothing that was going. If you missed it, it's gonna be a big deal. But still a solid outing, man. They haven't put out anything that straight up been sucked for 2 hours and feels like forever. So that's as a long time Impact fan when that's all they was putting out at one time. That's good.
I would recommend watching the Trey Miguel, P.D. Williams, Mahabli, and Rohit tag team match, the gambling scene with TJP followed by Swan, Mac, and the rest, and then the main event. Those would be the three things I would say are must watch.
Yep.
All right, so find Marcus on Twitter at ParadoxKid, ParadoxKid.
See.
He's also on his other podcast, The True Penny Show. They were talking about Noah this week, so check that out. You can find me on Twitter at Chad Nerdcorp, ChadNerdCorp, and on Instagram at ChadSpotahut, and on Twitter at NERDCORP for the website. The website itself is realnerdcorp.com. If you're listening to the stream, we're doing Lucha Look Back next. If you're listening to us on YouTube, we're done.